Let's talk about love and fear. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Prosperity TV. Randy Gage here. I'm coming to you live and in color from the balcony of the penthouse of Terry Brock, who you've seen as a special guest star on Prosperity TV up in Orlando, Florida. And I want to talk about fear and love. Course in Miracles teaches that every decision we make comes from one of those two sources. We either make that decision out of love or we make that decision out of fear. And here's my experience. The decisions that I make based on love are good decisions for the long term, for my positive prosperity, abundance long term. The decisions I make out of fear are not so good for my long-term interest. And I think that's true for everyone. And one of the examples, and particularly in the prosperity sense, is things, cars, clothes, money, watches, possessions. You know, I'm the biggest advocate of get the money thing out of the way and buy the things that bring joy to your life. And if you want 500 watches and they bring joy to your life, great. If you want 27 cars and they bring joy to your life, great. But just make sure those decisions are coming from love-based, not fear-based. Interesting thing happening to me. I'm looking around for some stuff in my closet. I can't find it. I have to move this box, and I discover a $48,000 watch that I bought, that I've never worn, that I forgot that I ever bought. Now, can you imagine that? There was a time I lived on $8,000 a year. Now I have a $48,000 watch, which I didn't remember I had bought, and I've never worn it. Behind that was a Philippe Patek watch, which I knew I had bought, because when you buy a Patek, you know you own a Patek, right? But again, it was because I think when I had workers in my house, doing the remodeling, I'd put them in there so that they weren't laying around up front or anything, and I didn't have time to go to the safe or the deposit box. And I forgot about them. And as I looked at how many watches I had, how many cars, how many clothes, I say, am I buying these out of love or out of fear? Because there was a time when I was buying all that stuff just to prove to myself that I could buy it. Because I had been poor for so long that, I wanted to, convince myself I'd never be poor again. So I was collecting a lot of stuff that I wasn't really getting joy out of. So think about that this week, because next week we're going to really go deeper in that. I have a fascinating show for you next week. But just give that some thought. Get down below. Let me know what you think on this subject. And please tell people about the channel. So as always, peace, love you guys, and live rich. Whatever you do, don't miss next week's show. It's important.